I'm a bit of a skeptic on this idea that a lot of companies are going to leave China and start producing in Southeast Asia, for example. Of course, some companies have left. Companies have been leaving China for 20 years, particularly low-end products like cheap shoes, simple garments, apparel. You know, that kind of production has gone way down in China. It's gone to Bangladesh and some other countries in Southeast Asia. So there's always been some migration in and out, but I don't think it's going to accelerate as a result of COVID. China still has enormous advantages, which people tend to underestimate. It has a very, very good infrastructure. It has a highly skilled, industrious labor force. And if you start moving manufacturing to some other countries in Southeast Asia, you don't have those things. And you see when some companies have tried to move, what do? They send down workers to those countries to try to train the new workers, but their productivity tends to be very low. So even though wages are less than they are in China, the productivity is not very good. So the labor costs are just as high and sometimes even higher. Transport costs are much higher because of the less developed infrastructure. So I think once we get a year or two away from the coronavirus, we will see that the amount of movement out is relatively small. And we also have to take into account that many companies operating in China are stepping up. They're doubling down on their investments in China so that they're less dependent on inputs and parts and components coming from outside of China.